There are some people in your life who, no matter how much you try to encourage them, always choose to see the worst in everything. They are the ones who never have a positive word to say, who always find a reason why something won't work, why life is unfair, and why nothing ever changes. And if you're not careful, their negativity will start to shape your own perspective. Negativity is contagious. You don't have to do anything wrong for it to affect you. Just being around it long enough will start to change the way you think, the way you see your future, the way you believe in yourself. At first you might brush it off. You tell yourself, oh, that's just how they are, or they don't mean any harm. But slowly, without even realizing it, their words become a weight on your spirit. Their doubt starts to echo in your mind. Their complaints start to sound like your own. And before you know it, you're seeing life through their lens, expecting failure, assuming the worst, and hesitating to believe in anything good. You have to be intentional about the voices you allow in your life. There are people who, no matter what you tell them, will always choose to dwell on the negative. You could tell them you just got a new job, and they'll say, well, I hope it works out, because you know companies are always laying people off. You could tell them you're starting a new relationship, and they'll say, be careful, people always change. You could tell them about a dream you have, and they'll remind you of every reason why it might not happen. These people don't inspire faith. They don't push you toward growth. They keep you trapped in a cycle of doubt and discouragement. And let me tell you, life is too short to let someone else's negativity dictate your future. If God has put a vision in your heart, if He has given you a purpose, then the last thing you need is someone whispering fear into your ear. You need people around you who see what's possible, not just what's wrong. People who remind you of what can happen instead of what might go wrong. Some people wear negativity like a badge of honor. They believe that by pointing out every possible flaw, they're being realistic. But let me ask you something: when has focusing on the negative ever built anything great? When has doubt ever created a breakthrough? When has fear ever led to victory? The people who change the world, the people who build something lasting, are not the ones who sit around pointing out why something won't work. They are the ones who dare to believe, who choose faith over fear, who move forward even when they don't have all the answers. That's why you have to be bold enough to cut out the voices that pull you down. And I know sometimes it's hard, because the people who carry the most negativity in your life might be people you love. They might be friends you've known for years, family members you respect, or colleagues you see every day. But if someone's words are constantly planting doubt in your spirit, you have to decide how much access they get to your mind and heart. Now, I'm not saying you should be unkind. I'm not saying you should go around cutting people off without warning. But I am saying that you need to guard your atmosphere. You need to be aware of what you're allowing into your space. You don't have to argue with them. You don't have to convince them to change. You just have to be wise enough to distance yourself. Because the truth is, some people don't want to be lifted higher. They're comfortable in their negativity. They have settled into complaining, into believing the worst, into finding problems instead of solutions. And if they refuse to change, you have to be the one who changes the way you engage with them. You weren't created to live under a cloud of doubt. You weren't designed to walk through life with a heavy spirit, weighed down by other people's pessimism. You were created to walk in faith, to see possibilities, to believe in what can be. And that kind of thinking requires an environment that nurtures hope, not one that kills it. So if there are people in your life who are always negative, who never encourage, who always seem to have a reason why things don't work, be wise enough to limit their influence. Protect your mind. Guard your spirit. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who push you to grow, who remind you of what's possible. Because at the end of the day, your future is too important to be held back by someone else's fears. Cut out the negativity and watch how much lighter, clearer and more confident your path becomes. There are people in your life who may smile in your face, who may even call themselves friends, but deep down, they don't want to see you win. They don't celebrate your success, they don't encourage your progress, and they never truly support you when good things happen. Instead, they sit back in quiet envy, secretly wishing they had what you have, or worse, wishing you would lose what you have. And if you're not careful, their jealousy can become a dangerous weight in your life. You can always tell when someone is envious. It's in the way they react when something good happens for you. Pay attention. Some people will congratulate you, but their words lack sincerity. Some will find a way to downplay your success, making it seem smaller than it is. Others will stay silent altogether, as if your good news is a burden for them to carry. That silence speaks volumes, because a real supporter, someone who truly loves and cares for you, will celebrate with you. They won't just tolerate your success, they'll rejoice in it. They won't feel threatened by your elevation, they'll be inspired by it. Jealousy is a dangerous thing. It can make people do things they never thought they were capable of. Cain killed Abel because of it. Joseph's own brothers threw him into a pit because of it. Saul hunted David because of it. Jealousy has a way of turning friends into enemies, turning love into resentment, and turning relationships into battlegrounds. And if you're surrounded by people who carry that kind of spirit, you need to distance yourself before their bitterness poisons your atmosphere. The problem is, jealousy doesn't always show up in obvious ways. Sometimes it hides behind fake support. Sometimes it masks itself as sarcasm, disguised as a joke. Other times it comes in the form of backhanded compliment statements that seem kind on the surface, but carry an undercurrent of resentment. And then there are those who won't attack you directly, but instead they'll subtly remind you of your past, your failures, or your weaknesses, just to keep you from feeling too confident. They want to keep you questioning yourself because deep down they don't want to see you rise above them. You have to be discerning enough to recognize these people, because if you don't, they will drain you. They will make you feel guilty for your success. They will have you second-guessing your blessings, wondering if you should shrink yourself just to make them comfortable. But let me tell you something, you were never meant to dim your light to protect someone else's insecurity. You were never meant to hold yourself back just to keep someone else from feeling small. If someone cannot handle your growth, that's not your problem. If your success makes them uncomfortable, that's not your burden to carry. The right people in your life will celebrate you without hesitation. They won't be threatened by your achievements, because they know that your success doesn't take anything away from them. In fact, real friends will see your victories as a sign that they can win too. They won't compare, they'll be inspired. They won't compete, they'll collaborate. That's the kind of energy you need in your life. That's the kind of people you should surround yourself with. But the ones who are envious, the ones who can't stand to see you win, they will drain you. They will pull you down with negativity, with subtle jabs, with quiet resentment. And if you're not careful, their jealousy will start to affect you. You'll start wondering if you should tone down your dreams, if you should keep your good news to yourself, if you should make yourself smaller just to keep the peace. And that is not how you were meant to live. You need to let those people go, because at the end of the day, you cannot afford to carry the weight of someone else's insecurity. You cannot waste your energy trying to make envious people feel comfortable. Your purpose is too great. Your calling is too important. And the right people, the ones who truly love you, who truly support you, will never feel threatened by what God is doing in your life. So pay attention to who claps when you win. Pay attention to who speaks life into your dreams. Pay attention to who encourages you without hesitation. And if you find that someone in your life carries the spirit of jealousy, don't be afraid to distance yourself. Because your future is too valuable to be surrounded by people who secretly hope you fail. Release them and make room for the people who will truly celebrate you. You said, there are people in your life who don't just influence you, they try to control you. They manipulate situations, twist words, and play with your emotions to get what they want. They aren't interested in your growth, they are interested in your obedience. As long as you follow their plan, as long as you do what benefits them, they will make you feel like you are loved, accepted, and valued. But the moment you start thinking for yourself, the moment you start setting boundaries, the moment you start making choices that serve your future instead of theirs, everything changes. These people don't respect your independence. They don't want you to stand on your own, because the moment you do, they lose the power they have over you. They use guilt, fear, and even love as weapons. They make you question your own decisions. They twist situations so that no matter what happens, you always feel like the one at fault. And the most dangerous part, they convince you that without them, you won't make it. They make you believe that you need them, that you aren't capable on your own, that you'll fail if you ever try to walk away. But let me tell you something, anyone who truly loves you will never have to manipulate you. Real love doesn't need control. Real love gives freedom. Real love allows you to grow, even if that growth means making choices that others don't agree with. The people who manipulate and control you are not acting out of love. They are acting out of fear of losing their grip on you, fear of losing their ability to dictate your life, fear of you realizing your own strength and finally walking away. You have to recognize these people before they take too much from you. They might come in the form of a friend who always makes you feel guilty if you don't do what they want. They might be a family member who constantly reminds you of everything they've done for you just to keep you indebted to them. They might be a partner who isolates you from others, making you feel like they are the only person you can trust. No matter what form they take, the pattern is always the same: control disguised as love, manipulation disguised as concern, guilt disguised as care. But you don't owe anyone your obedience. You don't owe anyone control over your life. You don't exist to fulfill someone else's agenda. You have your own mind, your own calling, your own purpose, and anyone who truly cares for you will support that, not try to rewrite it according to their needs. The problem with manipulative people is that they make you feel like you're the one who's wrong. They make you feel like setting boundaries is selfish. They make you feel like saying no means you're a bad person. But that is a lie. Saying no does not make you ungrateful. Walking away does not mean you're heartless. Choosing yourself does not mean you are abandoning people. It means you are refusing to abandon yourself. There comes a point where you have to decide that your peace, your freedom, and your ability to grow matter more than keeping someone else comfortable. You cannot spend your whole life trying to meet someone else's expectations while suffocating under the weight of their control. You cannot allow yourself to be manipulated into staying in a cycle that drains you, weakens you, and keeps you from becoming who you are meant to be. And I know it's not easy. Walking away from someone who has been a part of your life, who has convinced you that you need them, who has made you believe that their approval determines your worth, that's not easy. But staying, that's even harder, because the longer you stay in the grip of a manipulator, the more you lose yourself. The more you start to believe the lies they've told you, the more you shrink, the more you second guess yourself, the more you hesitate to step into the fullness of your own life. You were not created to be controlled. You were not designed to live under someone else's manipulation. You were given a mind of your own, a spirit of your own, a purpose of your own. And if someone in your life cannot respect that, if they cannot love you without trying to control you, then they do not deserve the privilege of your presence. So take back your power. Set your boundaries and stand firm in them. Walk away if you have to, because the people who are meant to be in your life will never have to manipulate you to stay. They will love you freely, without conditions, without control. And that is the kind of love worth keeping. There are some people in your life who take and take, but never give. They are always in need, always in crisis, always requiring something from you. But when you need them, they are nowhere to be found. They drain you emotionally, mentally, sometimes even financially, yet they never pour anything back into you. These are the people who see your kindness as a resource, your time as something they are entitled to, and your energy as something they can pull from whenever it suits them. And if you're not careful, they will leave you exhausted, empty, and wondering why you always feel so depleted. Relationships, whether friendships, family, or partnerships, should never be one-sided. There should be balance. There should be mutual respect, mutual effort, mutual investment. But when you are dealing with someone who only knows how to receive, who never considers what they bring to the table, the weight of that relationship starts to fall entirely on your shoulders. And the longer you carry that weight, the more you start to feel it, tired, drained, stretched too thin, and slowly losing the strength to focus on your own needs. The thing about takers is that they don't see themselves as takers, they see themselves as victims. They always have a reason why they need help. They always have an excuse for why they can't be there for you. And at first you might justify it. You tell yourself they're going through a hard time, that they don't mean to be this way. But then months go by, years. They are perfectly fine leaning on you without ever offering you a shoulder in return. They are perfectly fine asking you to sacrifice without ever considering what you might need. And the moment you stop giving, the moment you start protecting your time, your energy, your peace, they turn on you. They call you selfish. They act like you've abandoned them. But the truth is, they were never there for you to begin with. You have to recognize these people for what they are: empty wells. You can pour into them all day, but you will never be filled in return. They don't understand the value of reciprocity, of showing up for others the way others have shown up for them. And if you continue to allow them to take from you, they will. Not because they are evil, not because they are intentionally trying to hurt you, but because they don't know any other way to exist. They survive by attaching themselves to those who are willing to carry their burdens, by finding people who will give without asking for anything in return. And if you let them, they will drain you until there's nothing left. The worst part is you might not even realize it's happening at first. You'll just notice that you're always tired, that you always feel emotionally worn down, that you never have time for yourself. You'll notice that the moment you try to take a step back, the guilt starts creeping in. They make you feel like you're the bad guy for finally saying no. They make you feel like if you don't help them, no one else will. But that is not your responsibility. It is not your job to carry someone who refuses to stand on their own. It is not your job to keep giving to someone who never gives back. And I'm not talking about those who are genuinely struggling, those who are in a hard place, but still show gratitude, still give what they can, still appreciate what you do. No, I'm talking about the ones who take as if it's their right, who expect you to be there no matter what, who make you feel guilty for even thinking about setting a boundary. Those are the people you need to distance yourself from. Those are the people you need to cut off. Because if you don't, you will always be running on empty, always pouring out with nothing left for yourself. You deserve relationships that nourish you, not just drain you. You deserve people who see your value beyond what you can do for them. You deserve connections that give back to you, that encourage you, that remind you that you are not just a source of support, but a person who also needs to be cared for. So stop pouring into people who never pour into you. Stop carrying those who refuse to walk. Stop giving to those who never give back. Because the moment you let go of the ones who drain you, you make space for the ones who will actually show up for you. And those are the people worth keeping. There are people in your life who live in negativity. No matter what happens, they always find something to complain about. They never see the good in anything, never acknowledge progress, never celebrate small victories. Instead, they focus on what's wrong, what's missing, what didn't go their way. And if you spend too much time around them, you will start to absorb that energy. You will find yourself drained, uninspired, questioning your own optimism, and eventually you'll start seeing the world through their lens, one that is clouded with doubt, fear, and resentment. Negativity is contagious. It spreads through conversations, through attitudes, through the way people interpret their circumstances. If you are constantly around someone who complains, who sees failure in every opportunity, who always believes the worst will happen, that mindset will start to rub off on you. You might not even notice it at first. It might start with small things, doubting yourself when you never used to, hesitating to take risks you once would have jumped at, feeling less motivated, less hopeful, less inspired. And before you know it, their negativity has become yours. These people will tell you they're just being realistic. They will make you feel like optimism is foolish, like hope is naive, like striving for something greater is a waste of time. They will list all the reasons why something won't work, why it's too difficult, why it's not worth trying. They will remind you of every failure, every setback, every obstacle, as if to prove that dreaming is pointless. And if you listen to them long enough, you will start to believe it. But let me ask you this: when has negativity ever built anything? When has doubt ever created progress? When has fear ever led to greatness? It hasn't. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every success story was born from belief, from hope, from the willingness to try even when the odds weren't in someone's favor. Negativity, on the other hand, destroys. It paralyzes. It keeps people stuck in cycles of inaction, convincing them that it's safer to do nothing than to take a chance. The people in your life should inspire you, not drain you. They should lift you up, not weigh you down. That doesn't mean they have to agree with everything you do, and it doesn't mean they can't offer constructive criticism. But there is a difference between someone who wants to see you succeed and someone who is so stuck in their own negativity that they can't see the possibility of success at all. One pushes you forward, the other keeps you standing still. You need to be around people who challenge you to think bigger, who encourage you when things get tough, who remind you that setbacks are just stepping stones. You need people who see potential in every challenge, who believe that growth is possible, who understand that failure is just part of the journey. Those are the people who will push you to become better. Those are the people who will help you reach the next level. But if you keep surrounding yourself with negativity, you will never rise above it. You will always feel stuck, always feel like something is holding you back, always feel like your dreams are just out of reach. And it won't be because you aren't capable, it will be because you've allowed yourself to absorb the mindset of people who have already given up. It is not your job to fix them. It is not your responsibility to carry their negativity or to try and change their perspective. You can encourage them, you can set an example, but if they refuse to see the possibility of something greater, then that is their choice. And you have a choice too. You can either stay in that environment and let it limit you, or you can step away and surround yourself with people who actually believe in something more. Life is too short to waste your energy on those who refuse to see the good. It is too short to let someone else's negativity become your reality. You have dreams, you have goals, you have a purpose. And in order to reach it, you need to protect your mindset, protect your energy, protect the space around you. Because the right environment will push you forward, but the wrong one will hold you back. So if someone in your life is constantly negative, constantly tearing things down instead of building them up, constantly draining your spirit instead of strengthening it, let them go. You don't have to carry their weight. You don't have to absorb their fears. You don't have to live in their version of the world. Choose to surround yourself with people who believe in growth, who see potential, who inspire you to move forward. Because when you do, you'll realize just how much lighter, how much freer, and how much more powerful you truly are. There are people in your life who don't celebrate you. They tolerate you. They keep you around, but not because they truly value you, because it benefits them in some way. Maybe they enjoy your company when it's convenient. Maybe they like the way you support them. Maybe they just don't want to be alone. But when it comes time to genuinely lift you up, to be happy for you, to applaud your growth, they go silent. They change the subject. They downplay your success. And if you're not careful, you'll start to shrink yourself just to keep them comfortable. You see, the right people in your life will celebrate you. They will be proud of you, not jealous of you. They will cheer for you, not compete with you. They will recognize your success as something good, not something that threatens them. But the wrong people, the ones who secretly envy you, who compare themselves to you, who feel small when they see you rising, those people will never fully support you. They may pretend at first, they may say the right things, but deep down they don't want you to grow past them. They don't want you to outshine them. You'll notice it in the way they react when something good happens in your life. Maybe they brush it off, acting like it's not a big deal. Maybe they change the subject, avoiding any real acknowledgement of what you've accomplished. Or worse, maybe they find a way to make it about them, telling you how they could have done the same thing if they had just been given the chance, or how your success is just luck. These are not your people. These are not the ones you want in your circle, because if someone can't celebrate you, they don't truly respect you. And it's not always obvious at first. These people may act like friends. They may be in your life for years, making you believe they have your best interests at heart. But the moment you start to succeed, the moment you start moving in a direction that forces them to reflect on their own stagnation, their true feelings come out. They distance themselves, they stop showing up for you. Or worse, they start trying to subtly discourage you, planting doubts in your mind, making comments that cause you to second guess yourself, finding small ways to undermine your confidence. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to the people who celebrate you when you're struggling but fall silent when you're winning. Pay attention to the ones who are always there when you need support but disappear when it's time to cheer for you. That is not friendship. That is not love. That is insecurity disguised as loyalty. You do not need people in your life who make you feel like you have to apologize for your success. You do not need to dim your light to make others comfortable. You do not need to shrink yourself so that insecure people can feel bigger. The right people will never make you feel guilty for growing. The right people will never see your success as a threat. They will see it as a victory, one worth celebrating, one that inspires them instead of intimidating them. And the truth is, not everyone will be happy for you. Not everyone will clap when you win. That is a reality you must accept if you ever want to reach your full potential. Because if you spend your life trying to keep people comfortable, trying to stay small so others don't feel left behind, you will never become who you were meant to be. You will always hold yourself back. And for what? To maintain relationships that were never built on real love to begin with. Let them go. Let go of anyone who cannot celebrate you. Let go of anyone who makes you feel guilty for growing. Let go of the ones who only want you around when you're struggling but resent you when you start to rise. Because you do not owe anyone your silence. You do not owe anyone your stagnation. You do not owe anyone a version of yourself that is less than what you were meant to be. Surround yourself with people who celebrate you. Surround yourself with those who clap when you win, who push you forward, who inspire you to keep going. Because those are the people who truly care. Those are the people who belong in your life. And when you finally let go of those who don't, you will realize just how powerful, how free, and how unstoppable you truly are.